Hello. In this video we're going to look at experiment 4 from the teaching guide of our BrightSparks Edu mini turbine investigation. You can see here that I've already got the turbine set up on my grapnels tray, and I've attached the 5-blade propeller onto my turbine. I've made sure that it's fitted secure, and I've also done an evaluation. I've risk assessed the environment that we're going to do this activity in. There's nothing that's loose or that could fall into the blades of the turbine that are spinning. If you've got long hair, you want to make sure that you tie it back. Obviously, as you can see, that's not an issue for me, but you want to make sure that nothing potentially can get wrapped up into those turbine blades as they're spinning, particularly as we're going to use a new wind source. So we're going to use a powered source, and that's our hairdryer here. So here's the hairdryer, and you can see that I've mounted it in a retort stand and clamp. So I've made sure that the level is right for our hairdryer to power our turbine. We're also going to measure the distance in this experiment. So I've got here with me a half-meter rule. For the longest distance, the 75 centimeters, you may want to use a meter rule, but you can see here that I've measured and marked with blue tape the different distances that we could potentially use, and that's something that you could do on your meter rule perhaps, so that you can get nice accurate measurements. And you want to measure from the turbine blades to the front of the hairdryer. So what are we going to do in this experiment? We're going to put our hairdryer on, we're going to drive our turbine, and then we're going to see what the output is on our multimeter. And then depending the distance from our turbine, we should be able to see a difference in the output. So let's have a look at our multimeter. Here it is here. We're going to use 2 sockets. We're going to use one marked COM, and the black lead from our turbine is going to go in that. And then the red lead is going to go into the socket marked volts and milliamps. We're going to use the 20 volt DC setting, which is this one down here. With this multimeter, we've also got a backlight, so I can switch that on, and hopefully you'll be able to see the reading much clearer. So I'm going to connect the black lead to the COM socket and the red lead to the volts and milliamp socket, and then I'm going to switch it onto 20 volts DC. I'm going to put the backlight on for now, and hopefully you can see that clearer there. Now, because I'm using the hairdryer and it's a powered source, I'm going to put some safety glasses on, just in case if that propeller were to come off our turbine. It's really important when you're using powered sources of wind that you wear some safety glasses, and especially it's included in your risk assessment for this activity. So let's see what we can get. So if I, just as an example, I'm going to move our tray back a bit. And you can see here I've got a bit of blue tape on my half-meter rule. So now for this example, I'm 40 centimeters away from the turbine. When you're doing this, make sure that you're no closer than 10 centimeters, and also you do not want to go above a 6-volt output when you do this activity. So let me switch on the hairdryer, and you can see that our blades are spinning, and I've got a 2-volt output. Now if I increase the speed of my hairdryer, I've now got a 3.5-volt output from my turbine. You also want to make sure that you have your hairdryer on the coldest setting when you do this activity. So now I've shown you the setup. You could use various different distances. Remember, don't go any closer than 10. In the teaching guide, we're using 25, 50 and 75. And see what kind of output results you can get.